with some festive draping. So depending on the amount of time we have, we will either do 2 or 3 drapings. So keep those questions coming in so that I can keep answering while we demonstrate. So today I'm going to be doing a little faster ones where I've pre-pleated a little bit so that I can show you more drapings. But if you have any questions, just shoot them so I can keep asking. I can keep answering you. Yeah? You'll have to reduce that. So the first drape I'm going to do is a pretty basic drape to start with so that you can start easy. Okay? So just starting with a regular sari, I've got my heels on, I've got my petticoat, my so-called skirt petticoat on, and my blouse on. So here, as you see, I have put my knot in. So if you've seen the previous videos, you'll know why we start with the knot. So for any of you who haven't seen the previous video, please ask why the knot is. So starting with my tuck, you can start right behind. If you feel your saris are on the shorter side, so not as long as the 5.5 that you're supposed to get, instead start from the style. Don't go all the way back. But if your fabrics are very transparent, then ideally you want to go all the way back just so that it looks even from the back. This being relatively thicker, I'm just starting from the side so I get at least an extra pleat, keeping that extra fabric in mind. So just making sure I take it all around, and you want to come and drop it here in the front. Here now you want to see that the back is just touching the floor. So today I have worn my skirt slightly higher, but normally I would wear it way lower because when I'm on heels, I do not get the width for a sari normally. So I would always wear my sari a wee bit lower. So if you notice, you can see here when my skirt is so high, I can see my heels completely. So then normally I would wear my skirt way lower so that I have enough to tuck and it's just touching the floor. So just for demonstration purposes today, I'm going to put it a little bit higher. So making sure it's all tucked in well. So leaving the center bit where you want to make the pleats here, coming to where, if you have a nice border where the border starts, taking everything around. And then here, I have decided to put my pleats this way in the front. So now depending on your border, what you want to show off is what is key here. So here, the main attraction of the sari is the border. So I don't want to show as much open here. You can if you want to. I want both the borders side by side so it looks grander than it normally is. Again, depending on your height, you can decide on the length that you want to bring it forward. What happens when you shorten it like this is that you look slightly shorter. So if you want to lengthen yourself a little bit more, you want to elongate and bring it closer to your knee. Yeah, so ideally that's where you want to bring it, to elongate yourself. Of course, it's a very personal preference. So if you want to lift it higher or you get less number of pleats, then you'll have to lift it higher. So I have already pre-pleated. So I've just done the regular pleating. So normal, where I just go in, out, and instead of going completely over the last border, what I've done is brought it out a little bit and pinned it so that it comes kind of parallel to each other. Yeah, so this is just up to you completely how you want to do it. Once I've decided the length here, as I have shown you before, you can just use the pegs. So while I'm doing the pre-pleating first, I always like to use some of these pegs and then use my pins. So I have all of them in the position I want, and then only I pin it. Yeah. So same on the shoulder as well. Now coming backwards, here you can decide how much you want to hang, whether you wanted to drape this way, or if you want to show less stomach, then you can make it tighter and bring it down this way. So again, that's a personal preference on how much you want to show. So if I'm going to be showing you less stomach, so I want to pull this a wee bit more. My pin is there. And just like you would do a normal sari, you would want to come and put a pin here. So either you can start with the pins or just tuck it in by itself. So from here, then you want to start making your pleats. I have made a few pleats already, but now I'll see how much balanced fabric I have and I will continue the pleating. So just coming back in, finishing off the rest of the fabric that's there. So I get about 3-4 pleats more. You just want to lay them out, fan them out just a wee bit so that they don't look bulky. If you want to really reduce the bulk of these pleats, you can just iron them down and flatten them. But if you like the poofiness, then leave it as it is. So just doing that, shaking it so that it all falls in place. If you want, once you've fanned out nicely, you can put a pin here as well. So you know just where it starts fanning out as well, it's all in place and doesn't move around. So I have put one right up there to hold the pleats. Now just to fan out, and then put one just a wee bit lower where it starts fanning out. Okay. Then adjusting this last pleat. Here I always want to make sure this is slightly lower so that it doesn't lift from the bottom. You want it all to touch. So again, if you can see, I normally wear it way lower. Then it just touches the floor. You don't want it high up there. You want it just touching. So today I'm picking it up a little bit higher than I would normally wear. So here is another place where you can pin if you're not comfortable carrying a sari and you're afraid that you might step on your pleats and it might all come off. You want to put a pin right through your skirt as well. Yeah. So if not, just taking off the top pleat or two and still going through your skirt is also fine. So the pin does not show. From here, coming back, now you want to adjust. So I'm going to take off this. Okay. You want to adjust and see where you want to pin this. So I like this on the shoulder here, so I would go with the first pin here. If you don't want to show so much of midriff, here is when you want to start fanning it out a little bit more. So least amount of tummy, if you want to show, you can put a pin right here as well. And you can bring one here as well. So there's very little showing. If you want less showing at the back, you can pin it down onto your blouse as well. So this is pretty much for like the Gujarati drape that you do. What a little extra I do is whenever I have saris which have blouse pieces with the border, which I don't use, and I get the border separate and maybe another blouse piece done, I would save it maybe get velcros done or hooks done or a tie done at the end, so that I can come in and use this as a belt. So that becomes like a ready-made belt for your sari, rather than having to go and find one of the more expensive ones. So if you have the borders from your blouse pieces, this is a good way you can use it and stick to a plain blouse piece instead. So that is what I have done. Instead of going with the same pink again with the border, I have contrasted the blouse and used the border here. So pin it up, do velcros, give a tie, whatever suits. A tie is easy because then you can vary your height and the waist. So if you want to wear it lower one day, you can wear it lower. If you want to wear it higher, you can wear it higher. Ideally, wearing it higher is great because you want to target the narrowest part of your midriff. So wherever your narrowest part is, so you're drawing the eye to that part, so which will make you slimmer. And from there, you still have a long line flowing in front, so it does make you look longer. So that's pretty much for the first drape. Any questions coming in?